Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we're going to be trying out some of the new products I recently hauled, and I'm going to be doing a full-faced first impressions. So let's get straight into it. So first of all, I'm going to be spritzing my face with the fillm Professional Makeup Fixing Spray and see if this helps the longevity of the products at all. I mean, it's got an interesting smell, quite chemically, but we'll see how that goes. I'm then going to be taking the NYX Born to Go liquid illuminators, and I'm going to be mixing the shade Sun Goddess and Sunbeam together just to make something neutral. I'm going to be applying it just to the outer half of my face, not through the centre. We'll see how that goes if it shines through at all. I'm then going to be taking the NYX Pore Filler and through the centre of my face just to help with enlarged pores and old scarring and those kind of things. Feels very similar to most of the silicone primers that they have. I have used the Benefit Professional before. It has a slight bit of colour but not as much of a corrective colour as the Professional. Feels slightly dry, I can say that. I don't know whether if you had dry skin this would be great, but it does seem to be filling in the pores quite nicely. So now that we've got a nice base on, let's go in with foundation. Sorry if the lighting's changed a bit, I forgot about my backlight, so just turn that on. But I picked up some of the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I've got the shades 01 Creamy Vanilla, 04 Medium Beige and 08 Light Tan, just to try out. Now, for being the lightest, it really isn't very light and it's very yellow, so I might try this mixed with a little bit of 04 Medium Beige. I've popped all three of the products in the back of my hand. As you can see, it is a lighter shade, but it is very yellow. And then the difference between 04 and 08 isn't very much. So I might even need to put a little bit of 08 on. We'll try this out. Yeah, 08 looks like my colour at the moment. Now I'm going to take my Real Techniques buffing brush and a little bit of Fix Blush and just spray the brush just so you get a little bit more moisture through your product. And I have heard it's quite a full coverage product, this one. Oops, I just broke my Fix Plus. We'll get a new one. I've just grabbed my little mini travel size, so now let's see how this goes. So far it's blending in really nicely. It definitely is a more dry finish to a foundation. I think it gives you quite a matte finish to the skin. But it's easy to blend out, which is great. So I've just turned my other light off. I think that's a better representation of the colour. And so far, I think I like it. It looks a little bit heavy on my forehead. So maybe using a little bit less product next time on my forehead. It hasn't covered fully along here. Like none of my freckles are covered or anything, but I don't mind that. I quite like my skin to show through. I might use just one more pump just to see if I can get a little bit more coverage along here. What's this piece of hair doing? I bet you that was annoying a lot of you. It always annoys me when someone has a piece of hair in the wrong place in a YouTube video. So, I mean, that's given me, I'd say, medium to full. I wouldn't say full coverage, otherwise I would expect these bits here to be fully covered and along here. You can still see a little bit of my scarring through. It's pretty well covered, but I mean, all my freckles around my nose aren't covered at all, and I've still got a lot of freckles and pigmentation on my forehead, which I'm happy with, so I'm going to leave it like this. Now, the only new concealer I picked up recently is this Morphe concealing palette, so I thought I'd give this a go. I do have my Fit Me concealer, which I do pick up all the time, as a backup with me, but we'll try this. I have swatched this and it does seem like it's sort of a medium to light coverage concealer, which I don't have really bad pigmentation under my eyes, so it might be okay. But let's give this a go to start with. I'm going to go for a slightly peachier shade first, just to put right in here to see how well that covers. So that seems to have actually covered quite well, and then I'm going to go in with a lighter shade just to highlight and brighten everything up. I think that's actually done a really good job. No, it's not the most full coverage concealer ever, but for a concealer palette it seems to be quite a nice texture at the moment. I think it definitely will need setting because it's setting into my lines under my eyes already, but you expect that from most concealer palettes as they are a slightly creamier texture. But I think that's pretty good. I might add a little bit more concealer later on, so I won't set it quite yet. I'm just going to do my brows now, and I don't have any new brow products, so I'm going to do my brows off camera and then we'll carry on after that. So I've just filled my brows in with some eyeshadow. I use MAC Charcoal Brown and MAC Espresso. I remembered I did have one brow product to try. This is the NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. I have used this once. I liked it, but not as much as I like my MAC one. I didn't think the brush, it's quite large, so it's quite a difficult size, and I don't think it gets enough product on there to really hold your brows, but I'll keep using it and keep seeing how it goes. So I think next I'm going to move on to the eyes, and then we'll come back and we'll finish off the face later. Now for the eyes, one of the products that I picked up is this palette here. This is the Makeup Obsession palette. You can get these in Boots in the UK. I got my grandparents to send it over, but basically it is a warm eyeshadow palette that I have created myself. The eyeshadows come as little singles like this. Oops. They come as little singles like this in a plastic container. You pop them out and then they pop right into your palette, so which is great. So you can change the eyeshadows really easily. You can also put them back in their containers if you decide you want to travel with not the whole palette. But so I thought I'd give these eyeshadows a go. They are only £2 each, so very affordable. I've got a good mixture of shimmers and mattes here, so I thought I'd give these a go. And I also have 2 Colourpop eyeshadows to try out. I think I'll be doing something quite easy and simple because it is trying out new product. So first of all, I'm going to take a MAC 224 brush and the lightest colour in the palette, and I'm going to use this to set all over my lid. I'm just going to use this as a base shadow just to set and make sure the eyeshadows blend easily. Next I'm going to take this shade here. This is E113 in the shade Days. Sorry, the first shade was E32 Pearl. So I'm just going to take this and use this shadow through the crease as a transition shade. So it seems to be blending really nicely. It will be a true test to see how much fallout there is with the slightly darker shades. Nextly I'm going to take this shade, which is E146 Cinnamon, and I'm going to use that sort of in the same areas I use the transition shade, just to add a little bit more colour. Now I can do a full review and swatch with this palette. Next I'm going to take this shade here. This is E101 in the shade Burnt. I'm going to place this just sort of on the higher outer corner with a smaller blending brush. This is a 221 by MAC. Whoa, that is certainly pigmented. These are really lovely eyeshadows, guys. And for only £2, which if you're in New Zealand is about $4, in the States I think that'd be about $3. So really affordable eyeshadows, and the fact that you can make your own palette is brilliant. Who doesn't like a customizable palette? Now this is the darkest eyeshadow I got. This is E124 in Copper. I will pick up some more shadows probably next time, maybe some darker ones, and they do have a matte black, so that'd be interesting to try that one out. Just placing this in the outer corner and blending. The shadow doesn't seem to be adding too much depth. We'll keep going for it a little bit, but we may have to buy some darker shades to get that real depth that we'd need in the socket. But looking closely under the eye, there is no fallout whatsoever, which is brilliant, especially for these brighter shades. But it has left a bit of fallout on the lighter shades from where I've been using the shadows. They've just sort of fallen off. So there is a little bit of dust, but I mean, for £2 each, these are great. Now I've got two Colourpop eyeshadows I'm going to use. I'm going to use the shade in Mittens, just to darken up the look a little bit. And then I'm going to apply the shade Lala over the lid. Now I've never used Colourpop eyeshadows. I have used their liquid ultra matte lipsticks and their lippy sticks, but that's it. So I picked up 6 of these and I'm going to try these 2 today. I'm going to take a pencil brush and apply Mittens on the outer corner. I know Colourpop is more famous for their sort of shimmery shades, as they do get really glittery and pretty, but I thought I'd give it the mattes a go as well. It does seem a little patchy from first impression, just the way it's applying, but we'll see when it blends out what it looks like. So blending it out, it blends out pretty nicely, but as you can see, it's deepened it up quite nicely. I think I'm pretty happy with that, guys. And now I'm going to apply the shade Lala to my lid. I have heard that it's best to use your fingers with these Colourpop shadows to get the full metallicness, so I'm going to try it out with my fingers and maybe clean it up with a brush. I mean, it's pretty, but at the moment it's not anything fantastic. It does feel, I'm just going to go in with this brush, has no name, just a bit more of a detail brush to tidy up the edges. Just like that. To highlight my inner corner, I'm going to take this shade here from Makeup Obsession. It is the shade E115 in the shade London. Now looking at the concealer, it has creased a little bit. But I'm now going to set it. I'm now going to set my under eye now that the eyeshadow is done on top, so we can finish the lower lash line. I have here the Morphe 9C palette. I'm going to take a sort of mixture of this shade here and this shade here, so it's not too yellow, not too pink, just to set the under eye. Definitely kicks up a wee bit of product. But it definitely brightens. I'm going to put that on the side of my nose a little bit, just to bring it together. I'm also going to use these shades just to set my chin and my forehead. Now, feeling this foundation, it has set a tiny bit tacky. What I'm going to take is actually quite an old product, but I've never got around to using it. It's also so beautiful, which is one of the reasons I haven't wanted to use it. But it's this MAC powder here. It was the Sheer Mystery Powder. I know it was a limited edition probably about a year ago now, but I've had it sitting in my collection. I'm just like, it's about time that I use this powder. So I'm going to try this on just the outer half of my face. Seems to have set everything down quite nicely. It's a very sheer powder, like it says in the name, which is what I want. That foundation was enough coverage for my face. Now I'm going to just finish off the lower lash line, and then we can finish off with highlighting and contouring. So So just taking some of these shades here, sort of the same ones I used on my top lash line, just underneath the eye. And that's going to be done with the eyes, apart from mascara, and then I might apply some false lashes as well. We'll see how we feel, but we'll finish off with the face. I'm going to take this palette again for the contour shades. I'm probably going to use something like this to contour with, but I don't have any new bronzers, so I will be using my MAC Give Me Sun to bronze with. So this is MAC Give Me Sun. Just going to use this on a MAC 129 brush, just on the outer perimeters of my face. I'm then going to go back to my Morphe palette and try out this shade to contour with on a MAC 109 brush. It does look a tiny bit muddy on this side, which is annoying though. I'm not sure how I feel about the contour shades too far. I'm feeling like it's looking a little bit muddy, and it's looking a tiny bit patchy as well. Which is a shame. And I'm just going to clean up a tiny bit underneath with the highlight shades. Lastly, I'm going to take another Morphe palette. This is the 9B blush palette, and I think I'm going to take a mixture of this one here and this one here, just very lightly. I don't like to use too much blush. That's gone on really nice and natural, which has been great. Which is what we want. Don't want to be too pink. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to wear one of these, but till then, natural is the way to go. Now for highlighters, the only highlighter I have that's new is in the palette. Otherwise I might have to use some other stuff. So we'll see how this one goes. Swatching it, it's not very promising. There. It gives off more of a powder look with a little bit of shimmer rather than a lot of glow, but we can try that out. I'm just gonna pop it on this MAC 132 brush. Oh, see, look. That's actually really quite nice. That's why you can never judge anything by a swatch. Now I am going to attempt to contour my nose very slightly. I have a very weird shaped nose. I'd love to make it smaller, but because it's here that's large, I don't really know how to contour that area great. So we'll give it a go with these powders and see if that ends up being muddy as well, or if they're better for nose contours, nose smaller areas. I'm going to take this brush and just pack some of the highlight shade just on the side of the nose to clean up that contour. Then just going to take a MAC 239 and highlight just down the bridge a tiny bit. Now for mascara, I've got the MAC False Lash Maximizer. This is a primer, so it's a white mascara. I'm going to give this a go today. And then I've also got, for my actual mascara, the Max Factor Masterpiece Transform High Impact Volumizing Mascara, which is this one here. This apparently is very similar to the CoverGirl Supersizer, I think it is. So let's give these a go. Now I'm going to give that a moment to dry before I put on the next coat. Now let's go in with our coat of mascara and see how this goes. I think that's done a pretty nice job. They are really nicely separated, which is lovely. So I've still got lots of lashes. has coated them fully. They're nice and dark and black. There's a good amount of volume. It's a little bit clumpy, but I kind of like that style. I'm sure a lot of us do. That slightly clumpy lash, so it looks like you have a lot more volume in your lashes. And then for the bottom lashes, let's see how it does on these. The brush is a little bit harder for the bottom lashes. It's sort of got no bristles on two of the sides, if that makes sense. I've smudged a little bit under that eye, but we'll leave it till later to get. So here's how the eyes look a little bit closer. I'm really impressed with those eyeshadows. They seem to have blended beautifully. So lastly to finish off is the lips, which is great because at the moment it looks like I have none. The Colourpop lip liners, I haven't used these before. I'm going to take the shade Skimpy all over the lips and then maybe slightly overline with the shade Chi. And yes, I do overline my lips, but let's be real, who doesn't these days? Once you get lip fillers, and then generally you don't need to, but those are expensive. And I'm just take a tiny bit of cheek just in the outer corners to give a little bit more depth. Now, I've never tried the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lips before. It's my first colour. It is a little bit more pink than I would usually wear, but for the sake of it, let's just give it a go. This is Little Stitches, I think it's pronounced. I don't want to apply too much because I do really like the colour of this lip liner combo, but just for a little bit more comfort, the lip liners do feel a tiny bit drying, so I put this on top and hopefully that will hydrate a little bit. So there's that colour on. With the lip liners, I quite like it. It was a tiny bit more brown and a little bit less pink. It would be a winner for me. It feels great on the lips and everything like that. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this, playing with a few new products for me. Well, not only a few, a full face of new products. So many of these have got so much hype on the internet, so it was great to be able to try them out. So far, I'm really impressed by almost everything. There's a few things that are kind of not being as good, but if anything changes or the foundation drastically moves or the lip product fades or anything like that, I will let you guys know in the down bar. But otherwise, I hope you have a great day and we will see you soon. Bye!